Jeremy, thank you so much for meeting with me today. First, really want to start by saying congrats on passing your FE. What was your initial reaction once you saw that score that you had passed?
Uh, I got the email um, actually like as I was pulling into work, so I was pretty nervous, and then I opened it up and saw the pass, and I was pretty excited. I took a screenshot and I immediately sent it to you and my parents and uh, my girlfriend and stuff. So yeah, I was pretty pumped.
Nice. Nice. I was like, if I don't get a message probably in the morning time, then you probably failed and you're probably not gonna be in the mood to talk. So I normally on test day I always get nervous with students because I'm like, or when results come out, I'm like, I don't want to say anything. I'm just gonna kind of let them send stuff over. So all right, so that was exciting. I'm sure your parents were excited. Um, but for the audience, I know they don't know who you are. So if you don't mind sharing, your some of your background as far as where you went to school, um, and what you're currently doing as far as working.
Yeah, so I actually went to school with James at UNC Charlotte.
Hey,
Think you graduated maybe a semester before me, but basically the same time. Um, and I graduated with a civil engineering degree with a concentration in energy infrastructure. And so for my job, I actually do consulting and I design natural gas pipelines, mostly for Piedmont Natural Gas, some for Dominion, and we do some various other things like erosion control measures and just general site development stuff. So
I
that's
didn't actually
that
know
counts.
that. I didn't know that you actually was specializing in energy. So that's very interesting, and you love it.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. It's I get to work with what I was hoping to work with, so that's nice. That was what always interested me about engineering uh, was energy stuff. So, and I actually, when I originally started doing civil, I didn't even realize that was like a route you could take. And UNC Charlotte, I think they're pretty unique in offering that uh, concentration.
That
So,
concentration. Yeah. I took a few water classes, but I didn't do two. I think I might have taken one energy class, but it was always pretty interesting how they um, look at energy and dive into some of that stuff. So okay, cool. So I want to start out with the ugly, the bad stuff. So did you? Or I just have a general question. Did you have to sacrifice anything when you first started studying? Like, was there anything that you had to give up? Anything that was frustrating when you were starting?
um, yeah, I had to give up a decent amount. So I actually, this is another aside. I actually played soccer all throughout college, and I continued playing after school, like still play and everything. And I'm actually in a Sunday league, so every Sunday we had games, and pretty much the entire fall season, I think I only played in one game because I was either studying or was studying Saturday and making up for what I missed on Saturday with family and girlfriend and everything on Sunday. So it takes some sacrifice, and I mean even during the week, most days during the week, I was coming straight home from work, eating dinner and then going up and studying or having my meeting with you. So I mean, it definitely takes some sacrifice, especially if you want to try to pass on the first try.
Yeah, and that you did, correct? This is your first
Yep,
first attempt.
first
That's
try.
that is awesome. Okay, so how many hours would you say that you sat down and studied a day?
During the week, I tried to study for at least an hour on weekdays. Not always necessarily on the same day. So roughly 5 hours during the weekdays. And then on the weekends, I try to do 2 hours Saturday or Sunday, either or. So,
Okay.
and some of that varied as we got closer to the test, especially those last 2 weeks. That was a lot
That was
more
a big
time.
push.
Yeah. So,
Definitely was a big push.
yeah, I don't think I did anything those last 2 weeks after work. It was just come back, eat, study, pretty much every day. And then I think we did two practice tests, and I think on the Saturday 2 weeks before we did a practice test, and then those next that next Sunday, and then the weekend after that, I was redoing the practice test pretty much the entire day, like probably 6 to 7 hours, uh, both those times. So
Okay, so that that kind of lets viewers know, okay, I'm probably at minimum gonna need at least an hour or so a day to be studying. What what did you feel, if anything, was your hard? What was one of your hardest subjects? Would you say?
um, let's see, what was probably the hardest subject for me? You and I ran through quite a bit of the steel beam section. That gave me a little bit of an issue as I was studying, but I think we actually kind of worked that out for the test. I felt like I did pretty good on the test in that section. Um, I think actually, ironically, some of the like harder calculus stuff, which
Mm-hmm.
I guess probably should be the easier stuff, I think I just didn't pay as much attention to that. I was too focused on the engineering stuff as I was studying because I thought that was going to be easy. I think that probably gave me the biggest problem in the test, and also some of the water sections. That it was some of the questions there I didn't really recognize, but yeah, it worked out, I guess. So,
Okay, so you brought me kind of to the test. Talk about what you saw on the test, and then we'll kind of backtrack into what you did to study. But walk me through, like, yeah, what did you see on the actual test? Was it more conceptual stuff? Was it uh, more math? What would you say the test was?
the first half, I would say it was more, probably about 50-50, like math stuff, math and physics type stuff, and then some of the early engineering topics. And then the second part of the test, I would say, was mostly engineering topic concepts. Um, I mean, the test went pretty similar to how you uh, prepared me for it, as far as like doing the practice tests and each section and everything. I'd say your program did exactly what it needed to do to prepare me for the test. The only part that probably threw me off a little bit was there were
Mm-hmm.
10 uh, fill in the blank questions that I wasn't fully expecting,
Okay.
but I wouldn't say any of those were particularly like hard questions, which maybe that was by design, but
So different styles. Some were fill in the blank. Some multiple choice.
yeah, I'd
Um,
say probably 100 multiple choice and then just maybe 10 fill in the blank.
okay. Any drag and drop type stuff? Like,
Yeah, it's probably two of those fill in the blank were drag, yeah, like combine answers or whatever. Yeah, like drag and drop.
okay, okay, but those didn't really give you. They weren't
Yeah,
so many to where it was noticeable. Like, oh, this is a lot of drag and drop problems, or this is a lot of fill in the blank. 10 is a good amount, so
yeah,
it
I'd
seems
say
like
that,
they're up
that
there.
might be a little bit of a high estimate, maybe, but I would guess probably somewhere in the like 7 to 10 range.
Okay, so it was definitely noticeable and something that I definitely can take note of. Um, so some students struggle with the atmosphere of the test, like the. I know on the test, did you have a situation where you didn't have pen and paper? Did they give you like some sort of marker?
Yeah, they give you a yeah, I guess a marker and like a dry erase, but they don't give you anything to erase it with. So
Did that
You
throw
either
you off
gotta
at
get
all?
my fingers were like completely blue and black from trying to scribble out stuff, and I think at
Mm-hmm.
one point I just stopped even trying to erase and was just scribbling stuff through and then redoing problems. But yeah, that's it's definitely something I would say most people probably aren't used to. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it caused a major issue.
That wouldn't be the reason why you would
No, no,
fail the test. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. I like to gauge that. Was there anything? What about time management? How did that go for you on the test?
yeah. I actually ended up. I probably finished 10 to 15 minutes early, maybe. Um, yeah, I like I said, I think your program and especially like doing the practice runs with you, trying to do everything in 3 minutes and moving on, does the trick for getting through
Nice.
the test. So
Okay, so let's talk about. So I think initially when we met, I think I gave a couple options, right? I think one of the options was you could kind of do it on your own, type, hey, just have the course, study through it, and take it and be fine. What made you go the route of getting the course and getting tutoring? Was there a reason why you did that or no?
yeah, so the company I work for actually offers extended education like budget for its employees, and I went to HR and got it approved to pay for the full tutoring and everything for your course. So that was a big factor in choosing that, and I would say that was definitely worth doing. Um, yeah, I'm not exactly a person that I don't focus super well, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that I would have been able to go through the full however many 2 3 months
Mm-hmm.
process by myself and stay focused the whole time. So having you to hold me accountable was definitely a benefit. Uh,
Well, that's good. I'm kind of I would say I'm decently accountable, but with some things like even studying for the PE, like it would be nice to have kind of that
yeah.
accountability person to kind of walk me through things. Okay, so you've passed the test, right? So looking back into kind of the course and the program, it's kind of laid out. I just want to share this for viewers to kind of see, and then you can maybe add in. Um, the way that it's laid out is you're watching some videos on the topics that are going to be covered or the concepts that are going to be covered on the test. And then kind of the next step is to do some practice problems on those concepts. So now you understand what's going on. You've done some practice problems, and then you're timing yourself after that. So you're doing maybe a 3 minute questions to kind of push yourself. Do you think how did you interact with the timed quizzes on your own and the practice questions?
So for the practice questions, I didn't time those at all. That
Okay.
was just uh, trying to like get a grasp on the concepts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the quizzes, I did set a timer on my computer and try to finish each in 3 minutes. And then if I couldn't finish in that amount of time, I would skip it, go to the next one. And then if I had time left over, come back. Um, and was especially true for getting closer to the test. I was trying to do every problem that I did that way, not just the quiz questions. Like running back through old material and stuff, doing everything that way. That way, I could try to get into the groove of like, all right, you got your 3 minutes, and you can't waste any more time. Like you don't want to get to the end of the test and there's 15 questions left with 2 minutes to go. And fill in random stuff. So yeah, I'd say
So
that's
so I will say sometimes with students I have to kind of drill in that 4 step method of read the question, get what you're trying to find and the information that you're trying to find and use the information that's given. The reason why I'm drilling that stuff in is because it allows them to hopefully think for themselves. With you, it didn't seem like that was necessarily an issue for you. Like you weren't trying to memorize. I don't. Is that a word? Remember. I know sometimes I say rememorize. You didn't try to memorize solutions. It's like you took kind of that path of solving for unknowns. And when I threw something different at you, you still were able to get it. So I think that's a really, I want to highlight that because I don't, I'm assuming where, how did you know how to do that prior to coming in to the course?
I'd say that's something that's to an extent kind of pushed on you in engineering school. Just like, that's, to be completely honest, that's the
Mm-hmm.
most efficient way that you can do a test, especially on some of these. Back in school, we had what 50-minute tests with just
Yep.
three problems. Like, I mean, some of these problems that you're doing are like pretty intense. So that's just a good way to like stay focused and stay composed. That's the big thing. Stay composed. Like, you're gonna get frazzled in the test, and having your system to keep you focused on what you need to do. Here's what I need to look for. Here's okay. Do I need to go look through the FE handbook? If not, can I do this on my own? That kind of thing is a good way to keep people composed and focused during the test.
That's interesting that you say that. And it's also good that you grasp that concept in school because I was able to finesse school without learning that. And it's probably why I skated by, to be honest. But I think I learned that, like, actually taking this test, which was kind of crazy because I would go into the test and they would throw me something that I couldn't memorize. And I'd be
Yeah,
like, crap, like, how do I actually do this problem? And then it was a repetitive cycle. So I was like, all right, no longer am I gonna try to memorize this stuff because they always switch it up on me. Now I'm gonna just
yeah.
figure this thing out. So okay, last thing before we wrap up, you mentioned something about the handbook, and we haven't really touched on the importance of the handbook. Do you think that you could have gone through this test without the handbook?
I don't think so, honestly. I mean, maybe if I had studied that way, and it would have taken a lot more work, I would say, for sure. Because I mean, the reality is, you're most of the things on that test, the way to solve the problem is in the handbook somewhere. And that's I think that's again with your system of like staying composed, that's a big thing because like, all right, if you know going into it, hey, the solution or not the solution, the way that you solve this problem is somewhere in here. Let
Mm-hmm.
me look for it. You know where to go, what sections are for what. You look for keywords, that kind of thing, in the questions. Uh, that just makes things makes your life a lot easier.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when there are some problems that there are not things in handbook. Like I think I had maybe two or three surveying questions, and I don't think there's any surveying stuff in the handbook. And on those problems, I mean, when you realize that, you just have to say, all right, like either I'm going to get this wrong or not. You have
Mm-hmm.
to assume everyone else on the test that's taking the test at the same time as you is having that exact same thought. So, like, just do what you can, do it in 3 minutes, and move on. Forget about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
That's
would definitely say handbook is a big help, and knowing your way through that thing, that's very key for passing this test.
Yeah, I mean it's 500 pages, so being able to
Yeah.
get through it and know where stuff is, I think is really helpful for students. All right, last thing. Any tips or things that you would like to share with a student that is currently studying for their test or that has failed their test? Would you give what would be some either words of encouragement or tips that you would share with them to get them over the hump?
I would say the most beneficial studying practice I did was redoing or doing and redoing actual practice tests with the timing, taking the 20-minute break just like you did on the test, like doing it, like acting like you're in the test day, taking everything completely serious as if this is the real test. That is a game changer, I think, because when you get into the test, I mean, yeah, you've got a bunch of, or not a bunch, a couple things that you're not going to be used to. Like the room is a little bit noisy. They give you at the testing center I went to. They gave me like soundproof headphones. They
Hmm.
didn't really fit right. I was adjusting those kind of during the test, that kind of thing. But if you can get yourself into like the state of I've been here before, at least at a minimum, that's a big deal for test day. I'd say, like I said, staying composed, staying focused, just doing what if you've taken 3 4 practice tests, that's going to be a big deal going into the test. So
So yeah, it sounds like making sure that you're coming in prepared. This being the norm. Would you say the test was easy? Like,
I wouldn't say it was easy. I would say it was easier than I expected it to be.
okay, good.
But I wouldn't say it was easy.
Okay, okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, the better, the more that you prepare, the more, like you said, you put yourself in the real scenario, or make it as close to what the test is going to be like as possible. The more prepared you're going to feel, the more comfortable and confident that you will feel. And I think for me, this has been really exciting just because we knew each other from college. So
Yeah,
um, I think it just makes the success story even more exciting because now you can go, to the next step. What is next? Are you thinking about um, doing the PE? Or are you thinking about just telling your, employer, hey, I've passed? What's next for you?
yeah. I'm planning on doing the PE. I'll probably take another couple of weeks, just to chill and
Enjoy.
celebrate, I guess, a little bit. But then
Yeah,
I plan on kind of grinding here again soon, signing up for the PE. So that's the main goal of this. Is I think for probably everyone taking it, or most people taking it, is to get to the PE. So yep, that's the next step.
nice, nice. Well, we'll be in it. We'll be in that together. Hopefully, I can get out of it here soon. But I hope that the things or your future still goes well, and you're able to get it and take some time to enjoy it too. That's why I asked you, like, what are you gonna do to celebrate? Because I always like to know, what people what people do to celebrate because it's a big accomplishment. So congrats again to you, and thank you for sharing your experience with me and other students.
Yeah, and, thank you for all your help. I can't advocate enough for this program. I think it really was a game changer for me. I don't know that I would have been able to pass in the first try without it. So kudos to you for what you've put together.
Absolutely.